Love notes. We have to die to the mythology that you'll be worthy once you are chosen. Tracy Ellis Ross talks about in her new article the ache, naming the grief, just naming it, of what many women feel and many people, that they've done all these things and they still haven't been chosen. The man hasn't arrived, the woman hasn't arrived with the children, the house, the car, the fairy tale. And the fairy tale is cracking under the mythology. The mythology is cracking because the foundations that it's built on, the church, patriarchy, capitalism, hell, even white supremacy. And so patriarchy is cracking because capitalism is cracking. You need cheap labor. You need to continue to consume. And capitalism is falling apart because it can't even pay people enough to then feed their families. How can a man be the head of the house when he can't feed his family? But if men were really concerned about being the head of the house, they would have been outside yesterday, pushing for economic justice, pushing for better pay, better benefits, healthcare, making sure that women can at least be able to give birth and not go bankrupt giving birth. You know, the church is crumbling because people are slaves to two jobs. How can you tithe when you're a slave to two jobs? How can you really show up and participate in a church when you're tired? Because you're overworked, because of hazardous conditions. If the church really cared, they would have been outside yesterday instead of pushing their money towards lobbyists and policies and investing in companies that continue to exploit workers, continue to underpay workers, continue to create hazardous conditions. So you see that the mythology fails. The mythology is failing. It's failing. And so who are you if that person never comes? Who are you if that man never shows up? How are you going to get out of bed every day and say, these are the things that bring me fundamental joy? How are you going to do self-improvement that's not contingent or rooted in the possibility or the performance of a man arriving, prince in shining armor? What book are you going to write? What trip are you going to take? What career are you going to decide to take? If no one ever shows up in your life in the capacity, because even then when it does show up, half the time, was it really worth it? Half the time when you check all those boxes, was it worth it? Because behind the mythology is the grief. And behind the grief is the freedom. And behind the freedom is the ability to create the roadmap that's specific to your life.